Corey is at the largest swim lesson in the world.
How cool is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I started swim lessons at 5 years old. They don't wait at SWIMkids USA. They get them going very early. We'll find out how all of this got started and how we're going to bust a world record coming up in a moment. Sure. Well, I'll be ready whenever the president begins speaking, but we're ready to bust a world record today for swim lessons. And SWIMkids USA, which is where we are today, they are a big part of this worldwide effort, of course, and getting kids ready to swim and getting them ready to do it at a very young age. And tell you what, someone who has been instrumental in getting this message out and really got so much rolling in the way of teaching kids how to swim is Lana Whitehead. And thanks for getting up early, and thanks for everything we see here. And you've left a big legacy across the valley and really across the country. You were among the first to realize that even little ones, babies, can be safe around the water. Tell me about that.
They've done research. In 2009, Dr. Ruth Brenner and her colleagues at the National Institute of Health found that early swim lessons reduce the risk of drowning 88%.
Oh my gosh.
In children ages 1 to 4. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing and so easy to do. All it takes is a mom or a dad who says, I'm in. And because the kids, they love it, don't they?
Yes. You know what? And we also want the parents to know they have to have fences around the pool. They need to learn CPR, and they need to do touch supervision, where the mom or the caregiver is within arm's length of the child that they're watching around water.
Well, you're doing a wonderful thing today. You're going to be among about 35 or 36,000 other folks giving and watching swim lessons today, but kids who are taking lessons across the nation. And thanks for the waffle truck and the bouncy houses and the slides and everything. When will all the fun end today? People can come out now.
Actually, we're going on most of the day, but the big group is going to end around 12 or 1. But also, this is international. We have 22 countries doing this also.
Well, congrats on getting the ball rolling for sure. We got to swing things back to the studio, but and I don't know if you had a Hollywood career, but shouldn't Lana have had one? Oh. This is certainly a Best Actress nomination, if not an Oscar. Indeed.
You got
Lana Whitehead, everybody.
Okay.
See you soon.
As we all know, swimming lessons are life-saving. They're so vitally important. And today, thousands of kids are using those lessons to help set a world record. Heidi is joining us live from Mesa this morning with how you can get involved. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, if you're going to have your kids in swim lessons, you might as well have them be part of a world record attempt, right? And they're making it so fun out here at SWIMkids USA. Once you compete in this or take part in this, you get to stand on the record stand and get your picture taken there. So it's really fun. The lines are forming. This record attempt starts here in about 15 minutes. So we're seeing a lot of people coming in right now. But really, this is all about drawing attention to the importance of swim lessons. We talk about this all the time, especially here in the Valley, because we are so desperate to stay cool and our kids get in the water. So this is a great chance to remind parents about getting their kids in swim lessons, because Lana, if we get them in at a young age, we're doing them a lifelong favor. Good morning.
Good morning. They've actually done research on this. Dr. Ruth Brenner and her colleagues at the National Institute of Health, they found that early swim lessons reduce the risk of drowning 88%.
88%. That is a huge number, because some of the other information that I've been reading up on says adults tend to drown more than children, because when we get to a certain age, our pride kind of gets in the way.
Well, the 88%, unfortunately, is in the ages 1 to 4. So with adults, it doesn't reduce the risk of drowning that much. But they did do another study in China, and they found that it's 40% in older.
Really?
40%.
All right, so let's talk about this world record attempt that's happening out here this morning. You guys have a big number to break. I know there's people participating across the globe. How many people are going to be out here at SWIMkids USA?
We should about 108 to 125, and we are trying to break a record. It's 36,000 children all over the world who should be doing this. We're trying to break that record. It's 36,500, and we also are trying to draw attention to drowning prevention, and that means layers of protection, having fences around your pool, making sure you teach CPR, but number one, touch supervision, so that the parent or child is within arm's length of the child,
right,
that they are watching around the water.
And to have somebody dedicated to being that watcher, we have, let's show these bracelets. You guys are handing these out for free. A lot of the hospitals around the valley hand these out for free. This is just a token to hand off saying this is the person in charge right now.
Right, and this is so important because people get busy and they get distracted. With this on your arm, every 15 minutes, they designate someone to just watch the water, and then you change every 15 minutes.
Okay, so that it doesn't become too much of a chore, or for the person involved, it doesn't take their entire day, 15 minutes at a time, and then you hand it off. So Olivia, this is starting at 8 o'clock this morning. We're going to check in with you guys right when it gets started, and then a little bit after that. This is an hour-long swim lesson, and they're trying to, again, break the world record, and 100 of those kids of the 30, hopefully maybe 37,000 people across the globe will be right here in Mesa. So kind of a fun way to remind us all to be really careful around water.
Right, and especially when you're planning maybe a weekend party, you got a lot of kids in the pool, there's got to be someone who is tasked with the job of all eyes on those kids. Heidi, thank you. High temperatures and swimming go hand in hand, as we know, which is why every year at this time we see a push for increased water safety.
Yeah, Heidi's in Mesa this morning with some important reminders about that and the excitement over a world record attempt. Good morning out there.
Yes. Hey, good morning. Yeah, they do this every year. They try to set this world record for the largest swimming lesson. So that's going to get underway later this morning. But first, some important reminders for all you parents and caregivers out there of the importance of water safety. We've seen these temperatures reach really uncomfortable levels, Melissa. We're all trying to cool off. But this is where you say we can get kind of complacent, especially here in the Valley.
Absolutely. And that's what's great about this world's largest swim lesson event. This is the 5th year they've done it. Every year they set records. So we're going for another one, but it's hard to keep topping it because, I mean, last year was like 36,000.
Yeah. It hit a really big number last year. Let's talk a little bit about where we are right now for drownings here in the Valley. We're doing actually a little bit better than we were at this time last year.
We are. It is great. I mean, one is too many, as we know, but this year we're, as of May 31st, we were at 14 deaths. That included 3 pediatrics, 1 teen, and then of course the adults. But last year we were at 24. So we're excited that our numbers are lower. We're always aiming for that, but the weather has a lot to do with it. This is the first time we're seeing high numbers, and of course last weekend was a tragic weekend in the Valley, which added to those numbers.
All right, let's talk about the age that we need to be starting these kids in swimming lessons. How old are the age of the kids that we're seeing in the water right now?
The youngest we have in the water is 3. Oldest is going to be 7, but what's really cool is all of these kids started when they were babies, like 2 months old, and the older kids you see are on our elite team swimming at state championships and making like records. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, look at how great they are in the water, but you were saying they started as babies. I know right behind Arnold we have a little baby, Ezra, who doesn't really look too interested in swimming right now. I'd rather be doing what he's doing, to be quite honest with you, but his parents, he's 9 weeks old, and they already have him in lessons.
Absolutely. It's so important to get him in. We take him at about 2 months old. Some of our staff bring them in earlier at like 3 weeks, but that's because we know what we're doing. But the earlier you do it, the better. They're born with reflexes that we can continue to build upon, and it's a lifelong sport. We know that, but the earlier the education for the baby, earlier the education for the parent.
And you experienced this firsthand. Your son got into a little bit of trouble in the water, and he engaged those lessons, those automatic reflexes, pretty much at a very young age.
He did. I was very lucky. We were at a pool party, just like the stories always go. He slipped away. Fortunately, I happened to see him, and he went straight in, went straight under. And I thought, you know what? I want to see if these lessons are paying off.
You're a brave mom. I would have been freaking out.
I wanted to jump in and save him, but for that one moment, I said, let's just see what happens. And so he rolled, he floated, and he looked up at me and was like, hey, Mom. And I was like, they worked.
He was good to go. That's awesome to hear. We're going to have more on the world's biggest swim lesson coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, and more on what you need to be doing to keep your family safe. Good morning, Arizona. We'll be right back.
It is an exciting morning. The attempt for the world's largest swim lesson is underway. Are we going to make it into the Guinness Book of World Records? We're taking part in an effort that's all over the world, and it includes several locations here in the Valley. Heidi is joining us from Mesa, where dozens of kids are all geared up to go for a swim.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it is exciting and very noisy out here, by the way, at SWIMkids USA in Mesa, where, as you mentioned, Olivia, dozens of kids are taking part in this lesson, including some tiny babies. Check out little Ezra there. He finally woke up from his little siesta this morning, and he is already learning how to swim. He is just 9 weeks old, and that is what is so important in the message that they want to extend to parents this morning is no matter how old your kids are, it's never too early to get them started in swimming lessons. Lana is actually a pioneer in these very early lessons. We're going to let her hand off baby Ezra to Dad there. Talk to me about what you've done for people to help teach their babies how to swim.
It's really important to start very early. They get this real bonding, developmental acceleration by being in the water real early with their parents. It's very tactile, and it helps with neurological development. Also, it helps with the bilateral cross-patterning movements, and that actually activates all 4 lobes of the brain simultaneously. It increases the ease of learning and increases cognition.
Well, and this is something that we should mention. It's important for parents to get their children involved in, but they need to be following up at home, too, with doing this on a regular basis.
Absolutely. We teach them things to do in the bathtub. We teach them how to get ready for swimming and get ready for holding their breath by just pouring water over their face. So yes, they need to practice at home, and we give them homework so that they go and they practice in their own pool.
All right, I want to quickly talk to Nathan. He's Ezra's dad. You obviously work here, so you understand the importance of starting him at such a young age. But tell me, other than that, why is it so important for parents to get their kids in these swimming lessons?
Well, you know, as an instructor, we hear all the time these horror stories of kids falling in the pool, and we hear those happy endings sometimes about how they roll to their back or they're able to swim to the steps. So as an instructor, I learned early on that that was a goal that we had. When we started having kids, we're going to get them into swim lessons right away. And we've been able to see a difference in our home just when we take him swimming. We feel more confident. You know, we've learned skills on how to watch him better in the pool, and he likes swimming a lot more.
Yeah, the more they're in it, the more used to it they get, and then hopefully they won't be crying. So we're about 16, 17 minutes into this swim lesson. It goes on for about an hour across the globe. The record they're trying to break, Olivia, is just more than 36,000 swimmers involved in this. So we should know in the next few weeks if they actually reach this record. And of course, everybody, of course, gets a certificate for participating today. We'll send it back to you.
This is CBS 5 News.
And the focus here is keeping kids safe. And we talked to Lana Whitehead, who started SWIMkids USA more than 40 years ago. And she has some very helpful water safety advice, including a technique called touch supervision. Plus, we have safety information from the Phoenix Fire Department, and you'll find the interview and more at cbs5az.com. What are the most valuable safety tips around water that you could pass on?
Well, we want parents to provide layers of protection. So number one, barriers around the pool. That means fences. I'm not even crazy about pool alarms, but there are also some good pool covers. But you've got to have some kind of barrier to stop the child. And again, the fences should be self-latching gates. That's so important. It's got to be self-latching gates. And if you can put a lock or some kind of a lock on it, that's even better. The next one, probably the most important, is supervision. And that we call it touch supervision. So the parent or child should be within arm's length of the child that they're watching around the pool. So that means you can't sit up on the side in a bench and play with your phone. It means you need to be either sitting in the pool or standing in the pool or sitting on the side with your legs hanging over so that you could grab the child.
I think a lot of parents think that they can be on the pool, near the pool, in the area doing something else, because they'll hear if there's distress, but it's very quiet, isn't it?
Silent. It's absolutely silent because the person is suffocating. And suffocation, again, it closes the trachea. They can't make a sound. Also, they need to get formal swim lessons. In 2009, Dr. Ruth Brenner and her colleagues at the National Institute of Health, they did a research project on the connection between swimming lessons and drowning prevention. And they found that formal swimming lessons reduce the risk of drowning 88%. That's pretty dynamic, between the ages 1 to 4. It doesn't work as well with adults because adults involves alcohol. So we have what's called water watcher bands, or you can put something around the neck. And so that we give that to the parent, or at a party, you give it to somebody, and they are declared water watcher for 15 minutes. Then they change over, because how long can you really concentrate? Then they change to somebody else. They can't even go to the bathroom, nothing. Their only job is to watch those children.
And it's eyes on the water the whole time.